Good Morning Football. We're live in New York City. Happy Wednesday. It is October 9th. My name's Kay. Nate Burleson, Kyle Grant's here. Oh, what up, Mike Garofolo?
In for P-Shrags. My boy.
What's going on?
Hanging out, talking some football.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, how much time do we have? Can I take the whole hour?
Sure. You were saying during the break you think Giants big over the Patriots tomorrow night. Isn't that right?
Something like that. No, it was Patriots big over the Giants.
I knew you get them.
My name is Mike. I like boiled eggs and long walks in the rain.
I don't like boiled eggs. I just eat boiled eggs because I feel like that's
a good snack in the morning.
You don't eat the whole hard-boiled egg either. You kind of pick it apart.
No, just the egg white, yeah.
We get some Altoids over here.
Lead block. Boiled yolks are disgusting. Lead block.
Thursday Night Football kicks off right here on NFL Network tomorrow as the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots take on the New York Giants. Right now, we're not talking about a game. We're talking about practice, baby. With more, here's our very own Mike Giardi.
Good morning, Kay. A light week for the Patriots. No actual physical practices, just one walkthrough, that being yesterday. Lasted barely over an hour. More about the mental reps this week as you get ready for the Giants. And, of course, it helps Belichick and the Pats because they have Tom Brady, who's been through the short week a few times over the course of his career and has practiced, a couple thousand times.
I've had a lot of practices. I mean, if you think probably 100 practices a year on average over the course of maybe more than that, 120 times 20 years, just professional, all through high school, college. So, football, I would say, is very much like riding a bike for me now.
Now, Brady's been frustrated by the offense's performance, says it can get a lot better, but it's still early in the year, and maybe this week is all about just getting it done and moving on to the next one. Okay, back to you.
Appreciate you, Mr. Giardi. Let's take a look at the Patriots' first 10 games. Arguably the biggest challenge they faced this season was the Bills on the road. Josh Allen, of course, left the game. He had the injury. Matt Barkley finished that one, and they won. They are undefeated, the only remaining AFC team to stay that way. So should we, just break down this Patriots team, how good it is? Do we feel like they're fake good? I know their offense is a bit banged up. They released Ben Watson on Monday, and they've got very little tight end help. Their depth certainly is an issue.
You're trying to find holes.
I am trying.
I'm trying to.
That's a Good Morning Football.
There is a narrative that they haven't faced a legit contender. Sure. I would argue, Kyle, looking at you, the Bills are pretty good in the AFC.
I think the Bills are the third best team in the AFC. I love the Bills, and here's what happened. Patriots come in, the Bills got them at home, and they're undefeated, and they're ready to go. And the Bills' defense was great that day. Do you know what Bill Belichick did to Josh Allen? He goes, here's Josh Allen on my teeth. Let me just pick him out and flick him across the field. That's what he does to young quarterbacks. So we're looking at Daniel Jones tomorrow night. Here's Josh Allen, who's playing with guys. He did not show up for this half. He did not show up for this game. He ultimately led the game. This was Belichick boa constrictoring a young quarterback and squeezing the life out of him. So you look to tomorrow night at Daniel Jones. Belichick's been on the record for years on this. What you do with young quarterbacks is jump the first option every single time and make them look to the second one. This goes back to when Roethlisberger was a young quarterback. You name it. Flacco, Deshaun Watson. So the idea that how good is this Patriots team? They're really good, and I think we're going to see it tomorrow night.
We had the same conversation yesterday, Mike, and you weren't here, about the 49ers and, have they beaten? They're the only undefeated NFC team. Who have they beaten? It's not the same thing with the Patriots. It's not, because they did beat the Bills, which are a contender, of course, in the AFC. And they're not just beating teams, Mike. They're dominating teams week in, week out.
They are. And Josh Allen being a morsel of food between Bill Belichick's teeth makes me wonder what he ate, to be honest with you.
Chicken wings.
Yeah. But when I look at this Patriots team, the thing to me that stands out is how good they are this year in the first quarter of the season, when usually you see warts, because they use this first 4 weeks to be an extended preseason for them, to figure themselves out. Who are we? Seems like they have a pretty good idea of who they are this year. And this defense, I talked about it the other day on Good Morning Football Weekend. Lack of respect has been their thing. Not from a whole. Not from oh boy, the Patriots aren't that good. That was their thing late last year.
Right.
It's more about the individual players, and that they don't feel like they get enough credit for how good they are. So I know that at least on that part of the ball, that's what's been fueling them early on. So it's downright scary right now.
Yeah, speaking of their lack of respect, I've been that guy before that was quick to do the heavy lifting after I see the Patriots struggle. If this was me a couple of years ago or even last year, I'd look in the camera and I'd say, the Patriots just don't have it. I'd give them a hot take that they could play on Do Your Job 12. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to say that the Patriots are falling off. That Bills game, everybody was ready to jump off their bandwagon. They scored 16 points and like, you know what? They're looking a little old. Tom Brady's looking his age, and I don't know about that offense. And I know, Kyle, you've even said it. Peter's even said it. This offense isn't what it used to be.
They do have warts.
They do have warts.
Not look good at all.
I get that, but then they bounce back. they bounced back and put up 33 points against the Redskins. The last time they struggled like this, Week 15 versus the Steelers last year, they put up 10 points. You know what they did after that? They bounced back, put 41 on the Chargers, and then 37 on the Chiefs. And we know they win the Super Bowl and go on to win, up to this point, 10 straight games. So I can care less about them putting up 16 points versus the Bills. I know the Patriots will always make real-time adjustments, and they'll be one of the better teams after any type of struggle. And we're saying struggles, but they're still the best team in football.
Their adjustments on offense are absolutely amazing. We can talk about their depth on defense. That's what this team is. But the fact that they don't need a Ben Watson, that they release him because they want the roster spots for the defense, that you're saying they know what they are early in the season. This is a stout, depth, versatile linebacking crew. They are making teams look silly. They haven't allowed a passing touchdown this season. Is it okay that this team, in this day and age, is the defense? This team is very much, with Tom Brady, this isn't an offensive team. They've got tons of problems. They've got offensive line issues. They've got depth issues. Is it okay? Are they going to win? Could they go undefeated? Could they win the Super Bowl with a juggernaut defense? And the offense isn't looking great. Brady doesn't seem happy.
But there's no question that they can win that way, and that is, I think, when I say they did it in the Super Bowl. They did it in the Super Bowl.
In 2019, can they do that?
Can they do it? Yeah, because nobody else is. They zig when everybody else zags. They came out and played ball control against the Rams in the Super Bowl.
This is the ultimate
ran
year
the ball.
Yeah. This is the year because you got to batten down the hatches for Mahomes. Like, the question about the Patriots, we'll see how good they are. Who is the person who's going to rise up and knock them off? Years past, we've been watching the Patriots for 20 years. You knew those Ravens were going to be a problem in the playoffs. Those Ray Lewis, Joe Flacco Ravens, some loaded Steelers teams. Who is the team? They're like, man, when the Patriots run into them, it might be a problem. The only team I can really come up with, Buffalo, no. Indy, no. The only game that comes was Kansas City. And if they have the greatest defense that they've ever had under Belichick, that's perfect timing. Yeah. So I think they do have warts. I think the offense has big problems, but I don't see anybody who's rising up to knock them off. Who's the champion?
But you do think they're not going to go undefeated?
No, they'll lose a couple games. It's just so rare. It doesn't happen.
They've got tough games. I mean, they got to go to Baltimore. They've got the Chiefs in Foxborough.
After the bye, it gets real. They play Philly. They got good teams.
When it comes to the Chiefs, like, they stumbled upon the running game up against the Lions because the Lions were playing Pat Mahomes so stoutly. When it comes to the Patriots, like, they can do that any game they choose. Variety is the spice of life, and Bill Belichick has been cooking up game plans forever. So they can go into a game and say, you know what, we will be the best running game this Sunday. And then the next week say, you know what, we'll make Tom Brady one of the best passers this weekend. I don't think any other team, including the Chiefs, have that same type of duality in their offense. That's why
the Pats think Brady can be the best passer in a given week. You think that offense with those receivers, they can be like, screw it, let's throw 5 touchdowns. I don't know. Maybe they can.
100%. I don't care if Brady is aging, if he don't have the same zip on his ball. I know guys around him, but listen, you look at the young receiver, I'm going to blank, but he played for the Colts. Dorsett was pretty much labeled a bust as an Indianapolis Colt. All of a sudden, this dude is running around catching touchdowns, looking fantastic. I don't care if they got everyday regular dudes catching balls from Tom Brady, which they don't. These guys are fantastically talented. I'm going to say yes, he still can be one of the best passers in the league.
It just doesn't seem like they're focused on the offense. Like they are, you know, you listen to Bill Belichick, he's talking defense. All he wants to talk about is what he and Gerard Mayo and what Steven are doing. And I think that that's great. I don't know if it's going to bite them in the end. Like, I'm sorry to be the Peter Schrager here at the table, but they just don't seem to be. Like, Tom Brady's like, they don't talk to me about those decisions about Ben Watson. I just play with whoever's out there. None of those guys are super standing out. So I guess you guys are calling them warts or things in teeth. I don't know what this segment turned into.
They don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for the okie doke.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all.
They like to play raccoon. I mean, and here's the thing. I play possum.
I don't think I'm like,
raccoons come out at night. I guess they do are good at night games. Nate, go with it.
I was looking at Kyle. He hates raccoons.
The expectation for this defense is really, really high in tomorrow's game, and they just don't get got by Daniel Jones.
No, they don't.
That ain't gonna happen.
They need a big game from Edelman. The squirrel.
Right? I meant to say the Pats play. Yeah, I know. I say they play possum a lot, and I'm not gonna fall for it again.
He's gonna be mad at you the rest of the show because you know how he feels about raccoons.
It's all right. I brought an octopus in today.